Last night I did a presentation at a different conference. I was the only gold company there, and it was all cannabis companies. It was quite interesting. Yeah, it was quite, talk about a setup. But you know what I did? I actually just turned it around and I asked questions to the crowd and got their attention in terms of, you guys are here for cannabis, why would you be interested in a gold exploration company, right? And so I thought, well, even today I can definitely go through the slides and do the standard, but sometimes it's nice to do that as well, to maybe even turn it around and go to the audience and say, what do you guys look for in a junior, or why do you invest in a junior gold exploration company? So Guyana Goldstrike is a junior exploration company. GYA is the symbol. And we're focused in our flagship project in Guyana, Guyana being South America and between Venezuela and Suriname. And it's a great project, but even before I get into it, I mean, what excites you? What would make you want to become an investor of our company? What would you look for? Why do you invest in juniors? We're trading in around 30-cent range right now. So maybe just hands or shout something out to what you guys are thinking. What?
When are you going to go into production?
Okay, excellent. Of course, right? Yeah, and that's a loaded question, because production always, if you're going into production, then you kind of assume that the company's going to be around for a while, right? So you have maybe some security in your investment to a degree that the company's not going to be a resource company that disappears, right? That they find nothing. Hmm?
A lottery ticket.
Yeah, a lottery ticket, right. So that's good, what's behind it. And also what's behind production is revenue, right? So the revenue is good because if you have revenue, you don't have to dilute your stock as much, hopefully. You don't have to go back to the market and face dilution for all your shareholders. You can potentially be internally funded. Helps your costs. So to answer that question, well, we have a mining license, and that mining license, we're in position to exploit it. So we have been generating a little bit of revenue. We have a group of about 6 or 7 alluvial miners on the property, and we collect a royalty from them. So we allow them, they're artisanal, and we allow them to be on the property and we have some oversight. We want them to do their work to some good standards, mining practices. And so we collect generally anywhere from $200,000 to $250,000 a year from that. So there's a little bit of a royalty revenue there. But in terms of being in a position for us to exploit a mining license, that's what we're looking at. Actually just came from the property a few days ago. We had a group, a placer, saprolite group, a placer group that's very experienced in mining gold and saprolite and placer. And they're looking to work with us in partnership to do some revenue production, some mining on that. So that could be potentially some near-term revenue for us as well.
This conference, Will, is it in Toronto?
No, I came from the property in Guyana.
No, you said the conference last night.
Oh, yeah, it was here in Toronto. Yes, that's right. Yeah, thanks. Good, yeah, please.
What kind of resource do you have?
That's great, yeah. So where are we in terms of an exploration company? Are we pure greenfield? Are we brown? And you know, is it where you're taking some risk and putting money in that maybe we're going to get something on a drill hole, but we could come up totally empty? So to answer that, actually, we do have a resource. This company, this project had past operators, and so when we took over legacy data, and we took over 141 drill holes that were drilled on the property. These drill holes focused on 2 zones, and the one zone, Mazoa Hill, we actually brought into a compliant resource in January of this year. And that resource indicated and inferred just under 350,000 ounces at roughly 1.8 grams a ton. So it was nice for us, and that's what we actually really liked this project, because we could step into something that gave us a nice little base, that there's an asset there, and there's an asset there that we could build on, and a little bit of a story that we can tell, and maybe give investors some confidence that if there's 350,000 there, is there more, and is there blue sky to this? So, and there is, so I'm leading into something on that, obviously. Anything else for why you would want to invest in a junior, or why you would want to invest in an exploration company in Guyana? Yeah, that's a really great question. So it's third world. There's always some risk when you're doing business outside of North America, if you will. I've done business in Western Africa, and so I have some sense of different parts of the world. Guyana is really good in terms of English-speaking, British common law. So the law is very, very solid, being based on British common law because it was a commonwealth. They are independent from, I think it was 64. And they have an established, very well-established mining act. So from that perspective, democratically elected. So it's very good from that perspective. It is still third world. Infrastructure is very poor. However, there's something fundamental that has happened in Guyana that will change Guyana over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Exxon has discovered offshore oil in Guyana, and they've confirmed 4 billion barrels. The rumor has it that could be 20 to 30 billion barrels there. And when I was in Georgetown, I kept bumping into oil and gas guys, mostly from Houston and what have you. So there's going to be huge investment going into the country. There's a huge commitment by Exxon to be involved in the country for this oil and gas. And government's going to definitely work to step up the areas where there may be weak in terms of infrastructure and what have you.
Are there problems with Venezuela?
Yeah, I had that question this morning. Before I went to Guyana, I actually spent about 3 or 4 days in Panama. Panama has a huge problem with Venezuelans. There's almost 1 million illegal Venezuelans in Panama. That's not the case in Guyana. There's a little bit, but because the infrastructure is so poor and there's really not that much opportunity in Guyana, they're not going there. They're actually going more up Central American avenue there. So there hasn't been any issues at all that I'm aware of in terms of. No problems. The oil is all offshore. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's excellent. So that's great. So there's a mining license. There's some historic resource that's been brought up. There's potential for production. That's a really good story. But still, why would I put money in at 30 cents? Like, I mean, am I looking for a 40-cent exit? Or, right, what's my return look like? Is there still some blue sky? We do have blue sky. So 5% of the property has been explored. So the 2 zones that I've spoken of are within this 5% of the property. And over the last 6 months, we've been doing some significant trenching in another area called Toucan Ridge. This trenching potentially looks like it may be bigger than the first 2 zones, and this trenching can actually get us over probably north of 1 million ounces, all going well. I'm obviously looking forward here. But that's still, to a great degree, within 5-7% of the property. 90% of the property is unexplored. And we're actually just announced today that we have run an airborne magnetic over the property. This is really key. There's a strong relationship with magnetite and mineralization on the property. So the magnetic that we ran over that we're running over the property this week will be able to light up really good areas here and give us some good indication on where we want to continue to explore. So huge upside and very underexplored property. Correct. Yeah, great. So the hole's generally going to the deepest 250, maybe 300 meters in total depth. The majority of the holes were at the Mazoa Hill where we have our resource. Mazoa Hill is still open to depth and open to the southeast and potentially to the west. And then the remainder of those holes were at Marudi North, and those holes, I think, about the same depth. Yeah, and so there's opportunity at depth still, and with Marudi North, there's opportunity to expand the resource in other directions. Yeah. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, as I'm closing, because I got the ring, that's great. So in April of this year, we were fortunate enough, I have Dr. Gao, Tony Gao, on our board. He's involved with the Chinese Mining Association in Vancouver. We did some introductions to Zijin Mining. Zijin Mining is an $18 billion company out of China, and they are the largest gold producing company in China. They put a $3 million investment into us. They are our partner, 24% interest. They also hold their cards very close to their chest, so they're very clear when they talk to me, and they say, we're just shareholders. But if we continue to progress our relationship, I potentially have a strong partner that can finance us as we move and as we grow and according to our needs. So we're well financed. We have been obviously tapping into those dollars for exploration. So we don't have the $3 million today. We're down under $1 million. Probably be looking at a financing in the short term here. But just to add to that, the trenching is where we've been putting our dollars and getting some good success. Did that answer everything that you were asking? I think so, yeah.
When I think of Guyana, I always thought of bauxite.
Bauxite.
Yeah.
Yeah, bauxite's there, yeah. Diamonds, gold, bauxite, it's actually mineral rich, yeah, in a lot of areas.
And the guy who was from the company told me that the roads that they had, it was very easy to retrieve. So, roads.
There are roads, but a lot of the roads are not paved. And that's part of the growth in infrastructure that needs to happen there, for sure, yeah. Yeah. 27% corporate tax, and we're grandfathered in on a 5% government royalty. The current royalty with any company going in would be 8% now. I think I can stay around for any more questions, but I think this was really good. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.